Hey guys, we're down in Middleborough, Massachusetts today visiting our friends at Mathews Archery to set up a brand new TRX38. We're going to be setting it up for the World Championships in Mexico City in a couple weeks. So we're going to walk you through the entire setup from tying on the knock point to throwing in a peep and ultimately tuning the bow. We've got a couple things already on there like the rest and the V-bar mounts, but I mean, if you're watching the video, I'm pretty sure you guys already know how to do that stuff. So yeah, stay tuned and learn how to set up the brand new TRX38. Step one, we're going to be tying on a knock point. To make it consistent across all bows, I like to use a bow square. And for easy setup, I just kind of run it even and I make sure that the bow square is just gently brushing the top of the blade. So to tie on the actual knot, I just take the string, tie a simple overhand knot like you're starting a shoelace, and make it even at the zero. Perfect. And then I just work my way down, tying these simple overhand knots. You want to come look at what they look like. They're just simple wraps like this, and I make sure that there's 4 on the way down, and then above the knock I tie 2, but we'll show you that in a minute. Okay, now we're going to finish up the knock point by tying on the top knot. I've already got the first wrap done and the second one ready to go, so I'm just going to tighten this down and tie one more quick knot just for burning it down, making sure it's a little bit tighter and a little bit more secure. Perfect. Now if you want to come look, we have 4 knots on the bottom, 4 wraps, and just 2 wraps on the top. The reason for that is because when you draw back and you have even knots on both top and bottom, your hand and the release are going to be above the knock. But when you put 4 on the bottom and the 2 on the top, it drops that hand down just a little bit slightly, and it makes sure that your release and your hand are directly behind the arrow, which are ultimately going to lead to better arrow flight. Okay, next up, we're going to tie on the D-loop, and I'll take you step by step on how to burn the ends and get that nice professional looking D-loop. Now we're gonna get your D-loop ready to put it on the bow. I like to run a 5-inch finished D-loop, so what that means is I cut the actual material to 5.5, and then I flare out the ends. I just, grab my finger and push them down so it looks like this. And then just quite simply, I just burn it until the entire string melts and it looks kind of like a goopy burnt mess. And then while it's burning and melting, I just touch it to the side of the lighter to flatten it out. And now we're ready to put it on the bow. The other day, I made a quick post on how to tie a D-loop, but today I'm going to walk you through a tutorial with myself talking as I do it. So we start out with the D-loop string, and we put it on the other side of the bowstring, wrap it up and through itself, and pull the knot tight. This side's super easy. Now on the other side, we start on the other side of the bowstring, again, wrap it up and through itself, down on the close side to you, and then pull it through the hole that you make, and then pull it tight. We're gonna tighten it down with a release in just a moment, but that's your finished D-loop. Now we're gonna put the peep in the string. Zebra strings come with a piece of fiber through the center of the string, so when you put the bow in the press, you can just take this out, you don't need it anymore. And now we're gonna put the peep in. So I got the peep, I make sure that the string is on both sides and that it's in the slots for the peep. Now I'm gonna take the weight off the press and put it back on the string, and we're good to go. Just make sure everything's in the tracks. Perfect. Now we're going to tie it in, and I feel like this is just like hanging a safety harness from your bow stand. It's really important to just tie a few loops of overhand knots right across the mouth of the peep. There we go. 1, 2, and then I'll just tie a square knot on top to finish it off. And then we'll burn down the edges. And this is just something, it's not your final peep tie, It's just something to make sure that the peep doesn't come out when you're tuning it or setting it up, because I've seen so many guys this year, especially with the faster bows, as cams become more and more efficient, just shooting their peeps out because they're just too lazy to tie it in. So I don't want anything to happen to you or your bow or anything like that, so just make sure you don't skip this step. Please tie in your peep. We're almost ready to shoot the bow through paper. The last step is we need to set the draw weight. So Tanja likes to shoot her bow between 53 and 54 pounds for outdoors, so we're going to put the bow on the draw board and check the draw weight and make sure that it's set right where it needs to be. So right now the bow hasn't had any adjustments to it. We're going to turn on the scale. It's setting. Okay. Get up to the draw board. Start cranking. The bow's maxing at 60 pounds right on the nose. So we're going to let it down. I'm just going to take a quick 2 twists out of the limbs. 1, 2. The same on the top. 1, 2. And put it back in. $53.5, 53. So as you saw, each turn off the bolts was roughly 3.5 pounds. So now we're ready to go and shoot the bow through paper.
We're ready to shoot one through paper. The knock height is even with the rest, and we set the blade at 13/16, which is about 20 or 21 millimeters. It's important that you put all your stabilizers on it because it can affect the tear. But now for the fun part, we get to shoot it.
Okay, so we have a super knock right tear, which means we're gonna have to move the top hats to the right, move the cams to the right, and then clean it up. Let's go try that and see what the results are. When we shot the bow through paper, we had a pretty bad knock right tear. So to fix that, we're gonna have to adjust the top hats to move the cam to the right. Here's the complete master kit for Mathews. You can order these top hats at any one of your local Mathews retailers. As you can see on the actual top hats, each one has markings. There's middle, top, and bottom. These match corresponding sets. When I make adjustments, I like to make sure that I have the same corresponding sets in both the top and bottom cams. Now I'll show you how to remove them and replace them. These are really simple. Just stick your Allen bolts into the screw. You unscrew it. Take that piece off. Set it down so I don't lose it. I take a larger Allen wrench to push the axle out. Again, really simple, doesn't take a lot of force. I'm just going to lay the cam here at the base of the limbs so that I don't lose any twists in the string of the cables. So now to pop the top hats out, it's just simple. They pull out, nice and easy. Now for this one, we're going to start the adjustments. We've got the middle pieces. I'm just going to flip-flop them. As you can see, there's pretty big variances between the different sides. So I'm going to put the large side on the left, which is going to in turn push the cam to the right. So I'm replacing the top hats now. Again, they just slide into a sleeve on both sides of the limb. Pick the cam up, put it in the middle, the axle, right back inside the bearings, nice and easy. And then tighten the screw up. I'm going to repeat the same process on the top, and we're going to shoot it through paper again.
Alright, we've swapped out the top hats and we're going to shoot it through paper one more time to see if it worked.
Alright, we got it. That's a bullet hole. We're ready to head outside.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this video will help you set up your new TRX38 or any of the newer target hunting bows from Mathews. If you have any questions, make sure you let us know in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them. And if you ever find yourself in New England, make sure you stop by Reedy's in Middleborough, Massachusetts.